Hello, my name is Santiago Villarreal, and I am researcher at Université Catholique de Louvain. I am so excited to present this paper, a systematic review of gestural elicitation study. What can we learn from 216 studies? The authors are myself, Professor Vanderdonckt, Professor Vatavu, and Professor Wobbrock. GES were introduced in 2005 by Wobbrock et al. Like usability method. The goal was collect of the end-user preference. We examine, characterize, and compare 216 published in peer-reviewed journal and conference paper. We used 4 phases: identification, screening, eligibility, and inclusion. The query to search is gesture and elicitation and study. We selected 5 major computer science such as ACM, IEEE. The result for each phase we can see in this prisma diagram. For identification, 2,249. For screening, 1,938. For eligibility, 298. And finally, 216. Here we have a print screen of Zotero software, my group library, subcollection for each digital library, in color subcollection tags, database of keyword and tags, metadata of the paper, full PDF of the paper, sample reference of the GES with classification criteria. What can we learn from 216 studies? To answer this question, our SLR consists of 3 virtues: descriptive virtue, comparative virtue, and generative virtue. In the descriptive virtue, we focus in the metadata, scope, and the result report analyzed. In this table, we can see that the conference paper represents 79% and journal represents 21%. In this table, there are the 12 most influential GES. Each study with their authors, title, application, year, and citation in the Google Scholar. About the participant, we found the average number of participants was 25, the most frequent choice was 20 participants, the ratio male-female average of 2.10. Here we have the figure number of participants by age group involved over the time. About the body map, we have a heat map representation of the number of GES that elicited gesture performed with the specific body part. In the left, we have the individual frequency of body part. In the right, we have the combination frequency of the body part. About the reference, the average number is 20.10, the minimum is 1, the maximum is 17. The references have been presented by graphically, the most of the time, animation, videos, UI prototypes, either mockups or functional. The functions are described by analog or abstract. The standard set of reference can be basic function, generic function, or a specific function. About gesture dataset, the average number of elicited gesture across all study is 716. The minimum is 4 gesture. The maximum is 12,240 gesture. The average number of grouping gestures into the cluster of identical or similar type is 91. Other modalities have been elicited, either independently or in combination with gesture input, such as menu shortcut, function key, voice command, multi-device command, and multimodal input. The most frequently reported measure of agreement have been the agreement score with 34%, the agreement rate with 51%, the maximum consensus with 5%. The most studies did not specify whether the measures were computed manually or automatically. We used all the work contained in the metadata of each paper to do a workload based on term frequency inverse document frequency. We found the important words in our corpus such as gesture, participants, interaction, gestures, user, etc. Most GES reviewed produce gestures only. Other symbols could be elicited as well. In the figure, we can see that the participant could be elicit different symbols for the same command, an stroke gesture or an mid-air gesture. Most GES reviewed elicited one gesture per participant for each reference at a time. Multiple representation of reference and symbol. We have 4 axes: structured, unstructured, formal, and informal. Representations such as gesture grammar, 3D avatar gesture animation, sensor raw data, and gesture live capture. Most GES reviewed target one reference at a time. Most GES reviewed foster an open elicitation. Reversing elicitation. The symbols are presented to the participant, who are asked what they think those symbols. The agreement is the most frequent measure. This agreement represents a key measure to be accepted amongst participants. Any GES should explicitly define this context, for example, user, device, environment, so that any representation for the same context or any variation. Presentation of reference is independent of the experimenter. Conclusion. We highlighted the result in descriptive, comparative, and generative virtues. We have a corpus of 216 GES with 5,458. The information is available for the public. We are planning to continuously update this SLR. Thank you very much for your attention. Here we leave the link to join our public Zotero library.